Ford has redesigned the 14th generation F-150, so everything from the exterior to the interior more or less has been redesigned. Josh here at Subaru of North Tampa has given us the 2021 Ford F-150 XL Tremor package in the super black exterior. Updated interior, the tech has been reworked. The more capable off-roading Tremor package is going to borrow components from the Raptor. It's going to highlight exterior elements and it's going to back it with the power as well. Is this better than the Raptor, or is this something that's even comparable to it? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new F-150 reworks the fascia. The Tremor package is going to add to the clearance that's already over 9 inches. It's going to add an extra inch, so it's going to be over 10.4 inches of ground clearance. A skid plate highlighted with the silver, orange for your tow hooks. The orange is going to enter into the enlarged grille, blacked out with the honeycomb design on the top and on the lower trim. Beefy, bold styling, and that's what you're wanting. It's going to be big and large. That's what this F-150 is, a width of 79.9 inches, a height of 78.2 inches because of that extra inch of clearance. On the hood, we're going to have some vents, so it's going to give more of that performance styling. The best part though is all those hood lines, it derives right into your fenders and it just pushes out just a peak, and it should, because we have 18-inch matte 5 double spoke wheels. They're wrapped with 33-inch general all-terrain tires. The Tremor package retunes the springs. You're going to have a monotube damper up front. The rear is a twin tube damper. That's going to increase the travel by 1.5 inches in the rear, 1 inch in the front. This is not Raptor specs, but you will be receiving the transfer case out of it, a length at 231.7 inches, a wheelbase at 145.4 inches. Super Crew is the only available option for the Tremor. The orange is going to return on the air vent with the Tremor underneath the F-150. Everything blacked out for the aesthetics. The lower running boards is going to be off-roading spec with the Ford badging, and I like the setup because everything on this side, and especially how it's lifted up a bit with that off-roading suspension kit, it's going to make it look more beefy and more capable, and that's what you're wanting when you go into the F-150. Tremor package on the rear, wraparound tail lights. Towing is the best part, up to 10,900 pounds. With this Tremor package, a payload of 1,885 pounds. Reverse parking camera, reverse sensors, black tow hooks with your dual black exhaust tips. So now you have that performance style even into the rear. You have your spare tire tucked underneath. So that way, if you have any issues when you're doing your off-roading, you know, you got a spare tire, so you're pretty good. Going inside to your cargo, it's 67.1 inches of length, 50.6 inches wide, 21.4 inches of a height, 52.8 cubic feet is your storage. This is upgraded horsepower and performance. Let's start this bad boy and hear that EcoBoost engine. Comparing this to the Raptor, obviously you're going to have more capabilities with the Raptor, but the Tremor package does give you the ability to at least somewhat hang with the Raptor, and you're getting it for a fraction of the price. And Ford backs the performance with the EcoBoost V6 producing 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque that's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 16 to 20 mpgs. 0 to 60 at 5.3 seconds, which is only a tenth of a second slower than the Raptor. A quarter mile at 13.9 seconds. This is the best part, at 100 miles per hour, which is 2 miles per hour faster than the Raptor. So you got to take these numbers and specs into consideration when you're comparing the two vehicles, because again, you're getting a phenomenal deal. You're getting a few components from the Raptor as well. You get the off-roading capabilities and the performance to back it. Let me know in the comments what you think about that 2021 Ford F-150 XL Tremor package as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Ford F-150 XL with that Tremor package, you're going to receive 40.8 inches of headroom, 43.9 inches of legroom. It's quite a bit of space. Manual adjustment for the front seats. The orange is going to come inside for that package as well. So you have it on the contrast stitching on the door and on the seats. And also you have it with the American flag on both of the sides of the reworked dashboard. You have a dual glove box to start off for the passenger side, and I like the golf ball texture that is on both the passenger and driver side, and even on the center here they give that as well. So it does have a nice little contrast. You're going to have more of a matte black interior look. Single climate control, 2 USB ports and a 12-volt 8-inch infotainment touchscreen with Sync 4. We have navigation, so you're going to have the pinch, you're going to have the swipe. This has your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, Bluetooth connectivity, AM, FM. Into your features, and you have your trailering, which is really nice because you can put your checklist, and it will also help gauge if you need or when you need to service it. Your driver assist, click into there so you can see all the settings in which we have. Switch it to reverse. You can see you have full trajectory, your reverse sensors. You can click on that plus to click in so you can see the tow hook. You can click that P, and that will turn off your automatic braking. You click on the P with the lines, click off your reverse parking sensors. So I do like the fact that we're getting all these capabilities. If you need to click on the fly, just click that camera right there and you can see everything that you need. Very easy and intuitive in the same perspective. So an everyday use vehicle. I do wish that it had a 360-degree camera, but the XL just doesn't offer that. 3-spoke steering wheel, you're going to have it multi-function. The gauge cluster will have a TFT display that can go through an array of information. I would more or less just leave it on where it has the digital speedo, so that way you can really see how fast the car is, because again, it's pretty performance driven as well. Elbows pretty soft. Open up inside the lockable center console. You're going to have a lot of storage with another 2 USB ports, and I like the fact that it's super wide. The seats, however, are kind of open. So what I mean by that, they don't necessarily hug the butt. So it can be a little bit more comfortable on a long journey because the way you're sitting with these cloth seats, you actually sit in. Door panel will start off on hard materials. One touch up and down for the front windows. They are dual pane in the front. 2 tiers of storage, starting off with an area for a larger cell phone. And in the bottom, I mean, you can fit nearly a case of 16.9 ounce water bottles. As for the center here, you can fit a 16.9 ounce without any issue. I would say a 32 ounce, an area for a cell phone or your key fob, and a huge area that you could put any type of storage there, and some more storage here and more USB ports there. So you have all the connectivity that you need. You also have 4G Wi-Fi hotspot availability that goes up to 50 feet away from the vehicle for work sites, or even if you're traveling, that is something to take in consideration. Check out the back seats. For the back seats, I'm at 40.4 inches of headroom, 43.6 inches of legroom, which is quite a bit. 2 air vents are going to be in the center. You'll have your USB ports in a 12-volt with cup holders in the top and an area you can put a smaller cell phone. Storage behind both of the front seats. The floor is completely flat. You could fold these seats up at a 60-40, so that way you can maximize cargo space if you don't want to use the bed. There isn't anything to put your elbows or an armrest on the door panel. It's going to be kind of soft where you put your elbow. Harder materials on the top, starting with a cup holder that makes it nice and easy, because 16.9 ounce with no problem. I would say a 20 ounce max. Storage on the lower tier, you can easily fit, I would say, 5 or 6 16.9 ounce water bottles. And I mean, The space that you get with these trucks are like SUVs with beds, and I say it on all my reviews. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is still not an issue. Legroom, the same thing. I'm not really blocking the vents or your charging ports. Cup holders are right in front of me. You sit down because of these cloth seats, so it's actually comfortable. You don't protrude up. So even if I had to sit in the center, 3 adults my size and dimensions should have absolutely no problem, especially taking it off-road. And if you are taking this off-road, I would recommend 3 in the back because there's nothing here like I was saying before, so you might move around like this. The best part though, I'm not hitting my head on the headliner. I have plenty of room to move around and actually enjoy a ride in the back seat. Taking the 2021 Ford F-150 XL with the Tremor package out for our test run. The upgraded suspension right off the top, you will notice that you do sit up higher, which is a nice attribute because if you're taking it off-roading, even for everyday use, you can see pretty much over everything. So the ground clearance is excellent. As for the width, it does feel super wide, especially when you're looking through that windscreen. The hood vents, it does feel very sporty and performance driven. The interior, when you look over to the passenger side, it also feels widened out. So they did a great job with giving you all the space in the interior, even though it's still wide on the exterior. When you go over any type of terrain, you're gonna feel a little bit of the bumps, but not too much. I mean, these are all terrain tires, so you're not expecting to glide over everything, but you will still have a refined drive. So that's one thing that I do like about it. As for the engine note, it's gonna be super quiet unless you actually give it a little gas. And when you get over, I would say 2.5 RPM, that's when you're gonna finally hear those dual exhaust outlets kick in into the interior. The dual pane windows really does filter out everything pretty good. And the seat comfort, it's pretty soft. And it just seems like a very refined drive. If I wanna give it a little go, it does pick up and it does throw you. You do feel a lot more bumps as you start going a little bit more on the speed. But for the most part, it stays really quiet and composed. I mean, if I'm comparing this to the Ram Rebel, I would not compare this to the TRX, but the interior sound is very quiet inside. So they really have incorporated a little bit more of a smoother, quieter interior. The smoothness, I will have to say the Ram Rebel is going to be a little bit more smooth. That's just because of the suspension setup. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like is with the Tremor package, you do increase your towing 2,700 pounds and 445 pounds of max payload. So if you're looking to get the full capacity out, definitely a trim to get into. The second thing that I like about it is you have good performance in it. You have safety in the sense of you have your lane keep assist, you have your adaptive cruise control, you have the latest technology for Sync 4 as well. So I mean, you're pretty good and taken care of there for a little while. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is that you do sit up higher. And the reason why I always stress that with trucks is because you want to have a little bit more of a ground clearance. You want to have the skid plates because this does protect, even if you don't take it off-roading, sometimes because of elevation. If you live up north where it's more mountainy and you're going down or going up, you might not see something, so the skid plate helps and the ground clearance helps because you can cover most of any terrain more or less. Obviously, you're not going to go crazy, but you can still do most of the capacity in which the truck is meant to do. As for braking on the vehicle, we're going to try to do a little bit of a hard brake so you can see, and it does a pretty decent job with that. As soon as the light turns green, we're gonna see that performance. Green light, and here we go, guys, the raw performance in this car, and it goes, boy, it goes. Now, it is hard to stay planted, but it will get up to speed really quick. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle is they only offer it as a Super Crew with the Tremor package. And that's because if you wanted a vehicle not as long, you can't even option it with this package. You would have to do it yourself, which is fine, and it's doable, don't get me wrong. It's just the price point of the package isn't really that much money, and it would be nice to have it in different trims. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is in the interior, they don't offer any power adjustments for the XL, and I understand this is more of a basic everyday vehicle that you're gonna actually get some use out of, but in the same perspective, I would like to have seen some kind of power adjustments because the price point you're at, it's just something that makes it easier, at least for the driver's side. The last thing that I dislike is on the dash, there is a lot of aesthetics that are not as pleasing. And when you're talking about a refresh vehicle, you want the interior to be like, wow, look what I got. It does a great job at what it's worth. It just would be nicer to see a few little attributes. Turn radius at a stop point, you're going to be getting about 3 in a part lane long vehicle. But comparing it to the Raptor, you're gonna have around 9 inches of travel for this trimmer package. You'll have around 14 to 15 on the rear on the Raptor. Price point is around maybe 10,000, give or take difference, which is kind of night and day. However, the suspension layout, it's a 5-link suspension for the Raptor. It's about 3 inches wider as well in this particular model. And you also have 3.1-inch Fox Live shocks, whereas this one is going to still have the off-roading capabilities, and it's going to have the updated suspension, and you'll have dual monotube shocks in the rear. It's just, the performance-wise is going to be a little bit less. You can still take this doing some of your off-roading capabilities. If you're looking for a vehicle that you can drive every day and have some fun on the weekends, I would say this is the best bang for your buck because of the performance out of it and all the specs and updates that you get. If you're looking to get a vehicle that's going to be more derived for off-roading, but you can use it every day, gas consumption's not going to be there either, then I would say go to the Raptor. If you drive this first, the Raptor may be too much of an animal for you as well. And the price point is going to be a significant increase as well. In most spec Raptors that I've reviewed have been upwards to $100,000. So it's really hard to compare that to this spec vehicle, but this is definitely a great all-round and some weekend pleasure. I'd like to thank Joshua here at Subaru of North Tampa for giving us this 2021 Ford F-150 XL with the trimmer package for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.